Go
he wasn't
home,
a
man.
police officer.
And just like written, whatever, he'll probably get off.
He should
Even
get
though
off.
he antagonized everybody.
He didn't antagonize anybody.
In my opinion, if you pull a gun out on me, that's a threat. So these people probably felt threatened. If they would have killed him, would they get off? Because they were scared? Probably not.
Kyle Rittenhouse is going to get off.
Well, maybe.
He was literally getting he was running away.
And that
people
shows
try to
us-
say that the narrative that
he shouldn't have had that gun brandishing it at people.
I agree. So even though we disagree on whether or not he should get off or not,
No,
he
not should. No, nobody who ever starts anything and kills somebody as a result of what they did should ever get off. The law says that you're justified in doing so. The law is wrong as hell.
He was running
But
away.
he probably will get off, but he doesn't deserve to get off.
So if he went there and tried to was like, I'm going to
No, he
kill
should
some
have
people
stayed his
tonight.
ass at home.
If he went there and with the mindset,
No,
I'm going to
don't
kill
matter.
some people tonight,
No,
why
don't.
would you run away?
He should have stayed his ass at home and never came.
If his intent was to kill these people, why would he run away from them?
What do you mean run away from him?
He was in the video.
They came to disarm
He
him.
ran away from him.
Those people
from them.
tried to disarm him.
Disarm. Okay.
They tried to take his gun away. Now,
Well, that's a smart idea. Let's attack a guy who has a gun.
Well-
The exact same thing when it comes with police officers.
Okay,
Let's attack a guy that has a gun.
Okay,
let's
but let's
fight
talk-
with the police. They
So-
got guns.
But let's talk about the facts. I'm not saying that they're justified in running out and trying to fight a guy with a gun. I probably wouldn't do it. You're gonna take
No,
nothing to a gunfight?
that's stupid.
Calm down.
That's stupid as hell
Settle
to do
down,
that.
settle down. But at the same time, Rittenhouse did not need to go running around with a gun in his hand.
I agree.
He was trying to make a statement. He was trying to scare people.
Yes. We have.
And then he got scared and ran.
Yes.
So it was like, and in running, boop, 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 I killed a couple people. Whoops. Too bad, right?
I 100% agree with on this. He should never have been out there. So a lot
Just
of,
like the rioters and the protesters, like just like you want them to go home. Why don't the people with the guns who were trying to intimidate them take their asses home?
I think it's the stupidest thing ever to go out there with guns because you'll see these videos.
And that ain't peaceful. When you holding a gun out, like if you got a gun on your person and you got it covered up, that's still peaceful. It's just protection.
Yeah, they don't know that you
But
have
if you holding a gun and you walking around approaching people with your gun on your hands, that's a threat.
I think it's stupid because one, there's a lot of these cases where you see these opposing protests. So one side protests the other side, and they're on opposite sides of the streets, and you'll have a bunch of dudes with guns over here, and
But
you don't know.
But America says you have the right to do so.
Yeah,
if you choose to, you can do that. But at the same time, it doesn't justify anybody threatening anybody or hurting anybody or doing any kind of damage or anything like that. So it doesn't justify it. But America says if you feel like you have an issue with something, you have the right to do so. But Rittenhouse takes that to a whole nother level because he walks up with guns and they don't ever talk about the other people. There were gangs of people coming up there with guns to intimidate protesters. So they're trying to scare people. And he approached multiple people that day. You know, like
he was there to try to stop him from vandalizing. That's what he claimed. Well, that was his intent, and that's what he was trying to do.
So he says.
His intent was not just to go up there to kill people.
He's a wannabe cop. And
that's what he is.
He has no place. He's not justified in doing so. It's not his jurisdiction. He doesn't even live there. He should mind his own goddamn business. Take his punk ass home and go fucking play video games. Play Call of Duty, you stupid.
No, I don't think he should have been. I think it was dumb. I think it was dumb to go there. And it's a shame. When you get out there with all these guys with guns, even if I have, like, say, me, Mr. Trump waving, flag waving guy here, and I have a whole crew of guys with me, I don't know everybody in this group, are they going to keep their shit together? It just takes one bullet to go off, and then the shit's going to go nuts.
People shouldn't be brandishing guns.
Yeah, it just takes one guy just to get crazy. What if it's an accident?
What if somebody sees Rittenhouse with the gun and they shoot him? And they say, well, he had a gun. Would they be justified in just shooting him because he had the gun? That's what cops do. He had a weapon. I had to kill him.
Yeah, I think it's stupid. And these are kids in most cases, which obviously Rittenhouse is a kid. And these are kids in most cases playing high-stakes games, and they don't understand the consequences that come along with it. One thing I guarantee you, what you don't see out here in these streets is middle-aged people with families and jobs to go to every day. That's not what you're seeing. You're seeing young kids who think it's fun and cool, and then when shit gets real, that they don't know what the hell to do. Can you agree with that?
I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say there aren't any middle-aged people. I've seen middle-aged people who are out protesting and stuff, and I think they need to be alive too. But at the same time, if they're doing it for the right reasons because of injustice, like you can't knock them for doing it. Though.
I think a lot of this stuff is being flamed by the Democrats as well. You have Kamala Harris. She actually was fundraising.
First of all, her name is not Kamala. You know her.
Mrs. Harris.
Her name's Kamala.
She was out there fundraising to get the rioters out of jail to post bail for these people.
Yeah. She's trying to make good for all the people that she locked up in her past, I guess.
Prosecutor Harris. That's how I will.
Police Harris.
Yeah.
She's the police.
She's actually trying to raise funds to get these people out of jail, and which in most cases, these major rioters aren't even black folks. They're white Antifa people.
Okay, so you have an issue with the Democratic Party using these things, which I don't feel like the Democratic Party is for justice either, but that's me personally. So you have an issue with the Democratic Party using these things for political gain, right?
It's their
Trump does
violent
it too, right?
militants.
Trump does it too, right?
The right is not out here burning anything down.
Trump does it too, right?
Does what?
Uses these things for political gain.
You mean tries to shut them down?
Didn't he show up at in Minneapolis? Didn't he come? Or Portland? Where did he just
Wisconsin.
Visit? He went to Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
So he's doing the same thing.
He went to Wisconsin because of what? It was like war-torn city.
For political gain. There's an election coming up. There's a lot of places he didn't go.
So he's not out there fundraising to get criminals out of jail that just burn down their cities. Or other people's cities in a lot of cases where they come from other cities to go burn down somebody else's city.
I think that's just because
he's trying to keep them in jail.
I think that's because he's politically juxtaposed. I think if it was coming from the right as opposed to the left, he would be trying to get people out. He would be no different than Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. He would do the same thing for political gain.
This would never happen on the right because the right preaches personal responsibility. And the right does not go out there and just burn down your city because that is not a responsible action to take.
Donald Trump is the gleaming light of personal responsibility.
I'm said the right.
Mr. I don't pay my debts. Mr. I go bankrupt. Mr. Yeah, come on. Stop. Come on, man. Come on. Personal responsibility.
Then why isn't this happening?
The right is not about personal responsibility. They're about leave me alone. We're going to do what we want to. If you don't like it, get out.
And I'm going to show up to work.
Exactly.
And I'm going to take care of my family.
That has nothing to do with personal responsibility. That has to do with white supremacy.
White supremacy is showing up to work and taking care of your family.
No, this whole thing is this civil war you talk about. Every civil war.
And saying stuff like that is what leads us closer to
every civil war. And I'll explain myself. Every civil war is nothing but white supremacy. The reason you see all these white people protesting and all these white people rioting is because they want their version of white supremacy to reign over the other version of white supremacy. It's just white supremacy fighting against white supremacy. That's all it is. It's no different. Whether it be Democratic white supremacy or Republican white supremacy. They're all fighting and going at each other. And I feel like I'll sit back and watch y'all fight. Go ahead. You're going to fight for white supremacy. Civil war, white supremacy. The civil war, like the real civil war, white supremacy. Which level of white supremacy is going to win? Because when Lincoln freed the slaves, both branches like no. Whether it be Union white supremacy or Confederate white supremacy, I was like, nah, we're not going to have these black people walking around like us. Both sides are white. It's all white supremacy. This Civil War, when you got these Antifa types or whoever, or the left, white supremacy. When you got the right wing who's defending the cops killing people unjustly, it's white supremacy. It's all white supremacy. I mean, so at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't care that they're messing their own cities up and all that stuff. But they're not messing their own cities up. Other people are coming to mess their cities up because they're fighting for their wing of white supremacy.
Yeah, but what if that was happening in our city?
I wouldn't like it, but I ain't going out there doing nothing about it either. I'm gonna sit my ass at home and be safe, like a sensible human being.
Yeah, and what's happening now is they're starting to come to people's homes now.
They ain't coming to my house.
What was you gonna do if they come to your house?
You know what I'm gonna do.
You're about to blast their ass, right?
You know what I'm gonna do.
Yep.
If you come in my house. Now, if you're just walking up the street, I don't really. Hey, all right, do what you do, man.
See? And the fact that you live in a red state is the only reason why that's possible.
What?